Hello and a big warm welcome to this presentation from Pluralsight. My name is Andrew Mallett and I'm going to be your instructor throughout this entire course as we take a look at Ubuntu Linux administration and service configuration. In this particular module, we're going to introduce the complete course, but also we'll be taking a look at managing SSH servers and clients. Now, to say, this is the first module of our course, so we always like to introduce the course contents. So we'll be taking a look at managing and configuring our Ubuntu services. And we're going to be taking a look at SSH, DNS, Apache, MariaDB. Once we've looked at the MariaDB in our database services, we can move ahead and start looking at email. We can set up our postfix MTA, and we can then go through and set up Dovecot as an IMAP server so clients can pick up their email remotely. We'll be looking at containers using Docker, and we'll be taking a look at managing virtual machines with KVM and libvirt. So that's our individual modules for our course. But as we say, in this module, we're concentrating on Secure Shell, SSH. So we're going to be looking at setting up SSH client-based authentication using keys. We look at the SSH client options as well as the server options. Now, as always, it's going to be absolutely essential that you're able to follow through on your own lab setup. We cover the lab setup, which uses Vagrant and VirtualBox, in the Ubuntu Linux Administration Essential Commands course, which I also created. We're going to begin by taking a look at our SSH server options. When we're using Vagrant virtual machines, very often we're going to find that password authentication is turned off. We also need to look at root login. If we enable the root user to log on, it is a known user account, and especially if our SSH server is internet facing, then this could be a bad thing. We can see the runtime configuration within the SSH daemon itself using the option uppercase T. And the main configuration file is going to be the sshd_config. So we want to go through and actually check our runtime configuration. That will then print to the screen. We can always go through and search for any of the options that we are looking at. When we see the runtime configuration, it's all in lowercase, so it's easy to search for password or permit. And we'll see then the state of our password authentication, whether that's enabled or disabled, and whether or not we permit the root login. If we need to make any changes to any of these settings, we can go through and edit the back-end configuration file, so the etc ssh and sshd_config. Once we've made changes, we can restart our server and then double check the runtime configuration to see that it is the way that we need it to be. If it is, great. If it isn't, then recheck our edits and make sure that we've got the setting that we require. Now, it seems to me that we need to go through and investigate this a little bit. Why don't we dive out to our command line in the next clip and really take a look at how we can start using some of these tools that are available to us. Come on, join me in the next clip and we'll get this set up.